Hello, once again, everyone. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends, brought to you by the Publicity Works Agency, specializing in authors and musicians. Remember, we shine only when we make you shine. Call us today at 941-567-6193 for a free PR evaluation. The energy from 5 musicians in one room borders on magic, whether or not they say a word. The riffs, the beats, and the rhythms carry their conversation around the room. Sons of Silver feed off this sort of face-to-face energy. A tried and true rock and roll band. They plug in and unlock a flood of emotions energized by unbridled guitars, fluid percussion, and a distinct vocal howl. After amassing over 5 million YouTube views and receiving acclaim from Consequence of Sound, American Songwriter, Pace Magazine, Substream Magazine, and more. The quintet, Pete Argyropoulos, Brina Kabler, Kevin Haaland, Adam Kury, and Dave Krusen conjure this magic on their independent 2022 EP, Ordinary Sex Appeal. Please welcome the guys from Sons of Silver to Interviewing the Legends. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks for having us, Ray.
Thank you. You're welcome, man. This didn't happen. This happened by accident, but it's kind of neat. Very recently, I just interviewed Sons of Apollo on the show.
Oh, really?
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it is funny. We'll make a double bill out on the road there somewhere.
That would be neat. That would be really neat.
Right on.
So I know there's a Candlebox connection, okay, with the band. I had Kevin Martin on the show. He's a cool guy. I love Candlebox, by the way. How did you guys all get together? How did that get started?
Adam and I have known each other for several years. We were in another band together a while ago, and we stayed close after that band broke up. And Adam went more into live, playing with Candlebox and some other bands. I went more into studio work, producing a bunch of stuff. And I got bored being in the studio all the time, came up with a bunch of new songs, and started playing them by myself. I was bored still playing it by myself, so I dragged along my engineer, who's now my wife, Brina, and the two of us were playing, acoustic stuff together, bored out of our minds. We're more rockers at heart. So I called up Adam. I'm like, Adam, help me out. Can you help put a band together? He said, for sure. He brought in Dave. Dave brought in Kevin. A couple rehearsals later, we were on the road, a lot more than we ever expected. And things evolved from a singer-songwriter thing into a full-on band thing. And here we are.
Well, they call it a supergroup, and I agree. Pearl Jam, the Candlebox. I mean, it's pretty cool. Candlebox has a new album out also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
called Wolves, right?
Yeah, and, I think it's actually about a year old now.
It's amazing, those 90s bands, all of a sudden they're classic rock,
Yeah.
Nirvana would be classic rock now, Pearl Jam,
I remember being out on the road and we were talking to some guys who did a cover band, and they're like, well, what kind of stuff do you guys do? Just a lot of old classic rock, like Guns N' Roses. I'm like, oh, God. And this was like 10 years ago, and they were saying that too. I'm like, how did that happen?
Pretty scary, man. I tell you that, all the bands I talk to now, it is amazing because musicians now belong to like 2 or 3 bands out there, and they tour with 2 or 3 bands. That's incredible. Things have really changed, haven't they?
You tell us about that one.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, I think it happens for a lot of things. I think, the economics of being in a band have changed because you don't get the money from the albums anymore.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you toured to support an album that sold, that paid your bills. Mm-hmm. Now you make a record to get people out to the shows because that's where you make your money. So you kind of have to be working all the time. You can't just go and go out for a 2-month tour and drop a record and then take it easy for the next 2 years while you're being creative. You got to be you've got to be swimming or you're drowning, so I think that's changed. And I think because so many people are doing it, and sometimes these different collaborations spark some really cool stuff, so I think people are into it now it's become like accepted, and like, okay, what's this new thing, what's something else that's going on? And I think as a creative person, working with a lot of different people and doing things inspire you,
Yeah.
so you bring it back to everything you do.
Exactly. With the epidemic, people are starving for music, and every show I've been to, man, has been sold out. I mean, no doubt about it. People are really starving to see live music.
Yeah, they're cooped up for a couple of years, so
Yeah,
get out of the house time.
Yeah,
exactly. Which brings us to Sons of Silver's Ordinary Sex Appeal. I gave it 5 stars, man. It's a really good EP. I loved it.
Thank you so much.
Why an EP? A lot of bands are doing EPs. Why not the full album?
They're easier to digest.
Okay,
especially for a newer act like us, or it's easier not just for fans to digest. It's easier for media to digest, because when someone gets 8, 10, 12 songs, 40, 50 minutes long, it's hard to listen from A to Z. People just don't have the time even to spin it in the background, while they're doing whatever they may be doing, working out, taking care of the kids. It's hard for people to really put that much attention to something. So again, new act like us, easier to put out, more digestible, manageable amounts of tracks. But likewise, when you're creating it, like for us, we were on and off the road pre-pandemic a lot,
right?
Off and on for 2-3 weeks at a time. Then Adam, for instance, would kick out, play another gig for a few weeks. It's easier to put together a package of 5 songs instead of doing an album. Mind you, I think to speak for all of us, and we'd love to do an album. We're working on that right now. Good. But still, probably the next release or 2 will be an EP.
Yeah, in another interview you did, I think you said you had a lot of material out there, right? Do you still have the material?
Yeah, we were actually, the 3 of us were just going through stuff today, saying, right, hey, it's almost a little, it's a high grade problem, but it gets like, well, I don't know, it's a little daunting. What are we going to put out?
Yeah. It's a great, you guys are a great band all the way. I mean, everybody's awesome, but Pete, your voice, I'm telling you, man, it's awesome. It's very different as well. I mean, I could hear hints of some other artists in some of the tracks, but it's very distinct. You have your own sound for sure.
It's auto tune. I just, it's all computerized. Really, even right now, there's a little computer, thing in my mouth. It's all sending out to you.
There's a plugin that does it all.
I'm going to start marketing it. The Peter Argyropoulos plugin.
Cool. And actually, you guys aren't really talking to me. It's an image, right?
Yeah.
It's all AI.
It's AI.
Yeah, they're doing that now too. Well, let's see. Your wife actually started producing it, right? And then, did she have a baby or something? What happened with the album?
Yeah, some guy someone knocked her up. No, yeah, she's our engineering keyboardist. She and I were working together when the band started. She was working.
Oh, she engineered it, right?
Yeah, and so she's recorded all her stuff, and she mixed the first EP, Doomsday Noises, a couple years ago. But when it came time to mix this one, it was just about to have a baby, and so she was scrambling, like, for the last month or so before giving birth, and trying to cram in the mixing. And at one point, I went to her and said, "Honey, don't do this to yourself." So a few, tears later and upset, we had to pass the reins on to John Fields, but it was because the way we work, we really dial in our sounds and our levels, our pannings, everything is near to the final product as possible, so that it's just a good representation every day as we're working where it's at. And so when we passed it off to be mixed, it was well along its way.
Yeah, I could tell, man, the quality, it's produced well. You guys self-produced the album, which is cool. But John Fields, I just want to mention his resume, Miley Cyrus, Switchfoot, Jimmy Eats World. I mean, he's got a very good resume out there. So he found a good one there. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, he's great to work with too. A real pleasant guy, gentleman. It's just a real pro.
Yeah. Well, who's going to stop us? All right. Great song. You got some pretty cool videos out there on YouTube. Uh,
Thank
you can't just call yourselves a rock and roll band. Impossible. Because I saw elements of punk and new wave in a lot of your tracks, especially Who's Gonna Stop Us? That was one of them.
Yeah.
Am I right on that or no?
Oh, sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think when people ask us, either relative to other bands or sounds, I think all of us will bring up the punk element. We all love that, grew up with it in one way or another. So I say, especially for me, it's
Mhm.
definitely a big influence, that I love and that I bring to the table, but we all love it. So yeah.
Hesitate. You know what I saw on that one? I heard Lou Reed.
Really?
I did.
Right.
The way you were singing that track, I heard Lou Reed.
I can hear that a little bit,
Yeah, because you were kind of talking it, in a way.
It's sung, but it's a spoken kind of song. It's a little slinky. It's on the beat, off the beat, it's playing around with time a little bit, and it's very wordy, but in a clever way. So I appreciate that comparison. He is, he's did pretty well for himself.
I think so. Not a very good interview though. He was tough.
Oh yeah, didn't say a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. They don't, some people just don't want to talk, or they're kind of sarcastic and give you a hard time.
Yeah, I'm done with this interview now.
That's okay. Talk about the lyrics of Who's Gonna Stop Us?
Who's Gonna Stop Us?
Yeah.
There were, first of all, when we're working up these songs, like a song like Who's Gonna Stop Us, any of these tracks, we work them up together. So all the initial inspirations, start together. Perhaps one of us has a riff or some motif, a chord progression to get us rolling, but otherwise we just start together. So like generally the lyrics, or a bunch of the lyrics, will come at the same time, and they'll be like the cornerstones for then finishing it at a later time, which I'll do by myself. In this particular case, so this is a rare one, that the lyric didn't come right away, and in fact, we kind of worked up the track, and I was still thinking, I don't have a good idea for the lyrics, have melodies and stuff, but we had another track that we were working on at the same time that had this line, Who's Gonna Stop Us? And I at least I kind of liked that other song, but I was like, screw it, I'll steal it, threw it in here. And the lyrics, we had two versions. We had one version which was like writing like a sort of sports anthem-y kind of thing, because we're like, wow, this line could be really so cool for ESPN and the likes of that.
Yeah.
Then there was the part of me that's like, oh my God. So kind of wrote a very political version. In the end, we kind of melded the two, meshed the two together, and it's just having some fun with it, with that sports theme, but at the same time having some fun with the political end of things and taking a few pokes, subtle, but just to have fun,
Yeah, I like the political messages, like you said, subtle in music, but when the bands come out and vocally just try to destroy a politician or somebody like that, that's when I draw the line. And I had a discussion with Jeff Tate about that. We didn't see eye to eye. He really thought that, I can say whatever I want, that kind of thing. We escaped that shit with music. Just like in the 60s, we escaped everything from just listening to music. We don't want to hear that crap. We hear it on the news. Right or wrong. I mean, that's what I don't like about some of these guys that vocal their opinions about politics. And music's okay, but not, making a statement.
I think, well, first of all, we're all very much on the same page with how far we go as far as voicing the depths of our personal opinions, wouldn't you say? But and we talk about it a lot. Even we'll sit back like we did ahead of time on this EP. Before releasing it, we went over the lyrics, because I wanted to make sure, we wanted to make sure we were all cool on the same page.
Right.
Because they venture into some touchy subjects, but our opinion is at all levels, even just working with ourselves, working with other people, we're open to all opinions. It's when someone starts shoving it down your throat, it's like, come on,
Exactly. Yeah.
I've had enough of that,
Well,
and
just like religion, same
yeah,
thing, and
no different,
evangelist.
and I will say this is
Yeah.
that we all know in this band anyway that
Mhm.
that Adam is always right. So
I'm on the left. I'm on the left.
his
There
right.
I'm on the right. Okay. It's all about perspective.
So yeah, exactly. Oh, we are clever guys at heart, No, but seriously, we just it's opinion, man.
Yeah, it is opinion. Yeah. But I always, when they come out and say Republican, Democrat, blah blah blah, I understand more when they're saying I'm against the government. That I understand more. You know what I mean? It's screwed up by politicians in general. I can dig that because that's the way it was in the '60s. And the Vietnam War and everything. But
that was a really wise venture, the Vietnam War. That worked out well.
Oh yeah, well no, it did not. Yeah, that was uncool. I agree with that. My brother was there. He was in Vietnam. My dad was a Marine. He was in World War II. He just passed away. He was 97 years old. Went to Okinawa and Saipan. I mean, those are the guys. Those are the heroes.
Yeah.
World War II vets.
Generation right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You won't see that again. That'll never happen. Never happen again.
Hopefully, when
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Back to the music, Re-Education, another cool tune, a rocker. Love that song.
Thank you.
I heard a little bit of Chris Cornell in you. I've read some of the comments about the band, and sometimes I can hear a little Chris Cornell in your style. And I heard a little Chris Cornell in with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to think about that. I'm disagree. I just never thought of that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. They're both cool. I mean, look, there are babies, so I don't think we've put out any song that we've all done.
No, not even close.
Play. So for me, that you liking them is a compliment in and of itself. So thank you.
What's just going to happen if you love music? You're gonna there's going to be bits and pieces of somebody you like in the music. That's just natural.
Oh, yeah. Well, even when you're working on songs, I mean, I think it's fair to say that as we're working on a song, we always are drawing references to other songs. It helps you, sort of just carve away at it and fine tuning. Maybe we're doing that a little less than we once used to because we've sort of established ourselves at least within ourselves a bit. But yeah, I mean, there are always outside references. Hey, can we make the drum sound like this, or can we, make the guitar sound like that, or
we're all products of our environment. I mean, we don't intentionally do a specific thing. We do things that spark us as a group,
Yeah.
And so those influences are going to come from everywhere.
They're not intentionally doing anything like Led Zeppelin did with the old blues guys, and not give them any credit.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I still love it though. I do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The Stones were better about that though.
Yeah.
The Stones used to, bring those guys on the road with them.
Much better. No, if you're going to copy some of their styles and the music, just give them some credit. It took them a long time to give those guys some credit.
I think the big thing with Zeppelin is, and again, I'm a huge fan, is in the early days there were just straight lyrics that were lifted, and they were doing covers of songs and not crediting the writers. So
exactly, yeah.
You learn as you go. They were kids and starting out.
Totally. Yeah, I know. One band that never got enough credit was the Small Faces, and a lot of people ripped them off too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic band.
Yeah, that was a good band.
Incredible band. Yeah.
What was the lineup for Small Faces?
Steve Marriott, of course.
Yeah.
Who went on to Humble Pie. Yeah.
Yeah. They influenced the Stones a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
By the 70s, I think we're like, aside from the mid 70s stealing their guitars, they were stealing that sound a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'll admit I'm not a big Stones fan.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they were great musicians at all.
Well, musicianship and final product are two different things.
Yeah.
I hear. Yeah.
I think they're a little overrated myself. I don't want to start an argument or anything, but that's just my
Oh
opinion.
no, that's not opinions.
That's it, man.
You know,
Totally, yeah.
That's it.
yeah.
I think there's a lot of guitar players that could just pick up the guitar and wail on the guitar without having all these effects and whatever. And I think Keith Richards, if he did that, I don't think he can do that. And I don't think Jimmy Page could do that anymore either. You know, there's, you know,
Maybe we should get them to do a jam.
I'd like to see that without any effects, you know, overdubs or any of that.
Did you see It Might Get Loud, the one with Jack White and the movie with Jack White and Edge and Jimmy Page?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, come on that one when Jimmy Page was the star of the movie.
Yeah. I know. I know. I saw Zeppelin several times.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're a good rock and roll band, you know, but are they the greatest? You know, I don't think so. And Zeppelin, you know, when I was in high school, it was Zeppelin and Skinner. That was it, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyway, you guys got your own style, okay? You're not copying anybody. You got a great sound. Vocals are incredible. Guitars are fantastic. I mean, bass, drums, everything.
Most of the guitar work.
Yeah, great guitar work, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of compliments. Cause of Pain was a cool track too.
Oh, right on. Yeah. That one
Cause
was
of My
fun.
Pain.
Yeah.
I love that lyric. I love that title.
You know, that one was a funny one because the initial idea came at the end of a long day, and we were out in the room just sort of wrapping up, and I just started noodling on I started playing a little loopy guitar part, and Adam and Dave started playing a cool groove on it under it, and you know, kind of mimicking the vibe, the feel of the loop I was playing. And Kevin, if I remember right, you tell me, couldn't quite remember, or didn't quite know what I was playing. So he just started going, and it on top, right?
I don't remember, but probably.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And just playing these sort of, you know, chunky, blocky chords. And we did that for I think 5-10 minutes. That was that, if that long. And wrapped it up for the day. And our typical workflows at the end of the day, after everyone leaves, I you know, quickly review what we had worked on that day, and I'll even make, you know, a couple quick, very rough mixes and blast them out to everyone, so we can all, you know, review what we did over the, you know, the coming days until we get back in the studio.
Right.
That particular one, it just kind of was one of those things where it was like, this is actually kind of interesting.
Exactly.
So I threw it on my phone. I took it in the car with me, and while I was driving home, I just started singing, you're the cause of my pain. And in the meantime, it's playing on my phone, and I pull into my garage, and I'm like, shit, how am I gonna, I gotta record this idea. So I ran in the house, you know, kept it playing, ran in the house, grabbed Brina's phone, brought Brina's phone and the guitar, put her phone in record while my phone was playing in the car, and started singing over it. And then I sent it to these guys, and they're like, I sent it actually to you and first, and you were like, hey, that's really cool. And, you know, and we took it from there.
That's how the Beatles tracked with 2 iPhones, right?
I mean, you know, there's a resolution loss, but the stuff, as long as you listen on an iPhone, it still sounds great.
That's right.
Sure. Exactly right. Great song, man. I love it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna talk a little bit about Doomsday Noises too, because that's another great EP. And let's see, I want to look at my notes here. Deep Division. You know, Deep Division's a hit. You know, I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s.
Oh yeah.
So I can pinpoint that should be on the radio. That should be a top 40 song. You know, a big, or, you know, an album rock station, which, you know, stuff we don't have anymore, unfortunately. But I think that should have been a hit. I love that song. It's a great song. Very 90s too, isn't it? A little bit 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think there's a big mix of everything. I mean, not means make that like our default answer, but we've collected from everywhere. So I'm sure you're going to hear a bit of everything. I kind of feel like that at least that bass line on that one kind of reminds me of like late 70s stuff, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So again, it's a mulch of everything.
Yeah.
So
it's just a well put together song. You know, it's just, you know, it's perfect for radio. You know, it really is.
Thank you.
Love that tune.
Yeah.
Now this is going to freak you out. Outbreak. You know what this reminds me of? Let me see if you even know this guy. Ian Dury. You know Ian
No,
Dury and the Blockheads?
no.
Back in the new wave days,
I
back
remember
in
the name. I
the
couldn't
80s.
come up with a song.
The Blockheads?
Yeah, Ian Dury and the Blockheads. This
Oh,
song reminded me a lot of Ian Dury, the way you sung it.
oh no,
Oh,
I
cool.
I'll have
Yeah.
to go look that up. No, I don't know who that is at all.
He did a song called "Hit Me with Your Rhythm Stick," "Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll." Those are the two big songs he did.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll check
it
that out.
reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I missed that.
that was well, first of all, I want to preface that song was written and recorded before the pandemic. It was
It was.
we wrote it and
Okay.
recorded it the fall of 2019. And in fact, we almost didn't release it when we because Doomsday Noises was released in June of 2020, and we were a little hesitant to include that track because we thought that
Mhm.
people were pandering to
Yeah.
the pandemic, but in
Right.
fact, you know, we weren't, and we left it on there, and it's actually sparked a lot of conversation in a good way. So, you know,
Yeah, it's got a great beat and rhythm. It's a great track. It's one of my favorite
it's fun to
favorite
play. That
songs.
was a lot of that. You know, some are
was
more
fun.
fun than others to play
Right.
live. They're all
Right.
fun, but some are more. That one for me is one of the top couple ones because it's kind of simple, you know,
Mhm.
and has a funky time signature in the chorus. It's kind of fun.
Read them their rights.
Yeah.
That one's fun too.
Talk
Yeah.
about this one. Talk about the lyrics of this one.
You know, that's one of those songs that it came at an instant. The main pieces of it in one of our writing sessions. Actually, it was the same day as Deep Division. Both those songs, they were
Okay.
their main parts came about the same day. But anyway, and you know, you blame the un-American motif in the lyric that goes on, that was right from the get-go, and then everybody walk top thing. In fact, that lyric came first, and Adam was the one who suggested we sort of tag it at the ends where the pop bumps before going into the chorus.
Right.
So that came together really quick within a day, most of that song. And the only thing we didn't have really was the lead chorus lyric.
hmm
And we were about to go on the road, and we had only done a rough recording of it. We figured we'll play it on the road for a few months and then go back in the studio and record it.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, do we do it without the lead vocal lyric or the main lyrics? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll just sort of mumble something. And during that process, I came up with the line, read them their rights.
hmm
You know, started using it. And one night I really used it with confidence so you could actually understand what I was saying. And Kevin turns to me and he's like, hey, I really like that. That was really cool. Read them their rights. So I think we were at a show in San Francisco, in fact. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And I remember I took a second, went over my phone and wrote it down just to make sure, you know, I really had it,
Right.
you know, stored away. And so that's how that came about. But it was kind of funny.
Very cool. World on Fire. You know, one of my favorite protest songs, you know, against the man or the world or against politics or whatever, it's still going to be War Pigs by Black Sabbath. I mean, that just hits home, doesn't it? Especially now, you know,
Yeah.
with everything that's going on in Ukraine, and you know, it's
It'll always be relevant.
yeah. I think you're right.
I think the leaders will always find a way to make songs like that relevant.
Oh my gosh.
It's their job.
I think you're right.
It keeps them in their job. So to speak.
One good thing about the pandemic, there's no good thing about the pandemic and everything that has happened. It's horrible. But music-wise, just like in the 60s, and when bad things happen, musicians get more creative and the lyrics get stronger, you know, and that's happened. I mean, every interview I've done, all the music's about what's happened recently, you know, about the pandemic and everything everybody's been through.
What type of stuff? What type of like sentiment are you hearing, or sentiments are you hearing?
Well, like Ian Anderson did a song called "Thank You," and he was actually thanking the nurses for their patronage and the doctors and everything they've been through. So that, you know, that was a positive thing. You know,
That's
he did
cool.
a song with Leslie Mandoki. They did a duo thing together. Just, you know, the issues that we had through the pandemic, you know, being locked up and can't go anywhere, and, you know, pretty much like you guys have been doing, you know. But it's just gotten some very inspirational lyrics from all this. It
Yeah.
really has, you know.
You got to find an outlet. I mean, it's the past few years have been, you know, mentally tough on everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
If you don't find positive ways to express it or get it out or something, even just to distract yourself, it can weigh on you. We've all seen people have taken it all different ways. Some people have gotten through it okay, and other people you've just seen decline. And it's a shame to see that happen to people.
Yeah.
I've lost some friends. My dad actually, the pandemic, the COVID was one of the reasons why he passed away. He was 97. I lost an aunt, same way. She was also elderly, but yeah, I mean, it affected a lot of people, and it's horrible. I just hope it never comes back anytime soon, you know?
It's still hanging around.
It's still here.
It's still, I know.
Not as dangerous as it was, but yeah.
Yeah. And there's talking about the monkeypox thing. I hope that doesn't get any stronger. That doesn't sound very good. I'd hate to have that, man. Here's one of my favorite guitar licks on Doomsday Noises, Rude Awakenings.
Oh yeah.
I like the guitar work on that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
Yeah, that one's fun.
That one's fun to play.
That one's cool. Yeah, that one actually, that was one I actually had a pretty good idea of the song on that one, bringing in not complete but fairly solid, you know, chunk of the song, because generally we don't like to do that. We just like to have pieces and we all finish it together, because that's kind of how we all make it sort of mulch together with all our interests, personalities, and then just feel good, because, you know, when you're playing something that's, you know, came from you, it's just so much better. But that one, I brought in a big chunk of the song, but it was fun how everyone just sort of ran with it,
right,
and took it to a completely different level with guitars, bass, and everything, you know. And if I remember right, we got that one, the rhythm, all the basics of it really quick.
Usually do.
So
yeah,
we usually do.
And then we added the hoo-hoos in there. I think in there.
Yeah,
I think that was you, Brina, and I. So we were just that was a little nod to the little hat tip to the Stones in a sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
yeah, I did notice that, by the way. That was pretty cool.
They're a little subtle in the mix, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember actually, I remember it was funny because you walked in the studio that day and you had the idea no, I'm gonna take that back. You walked in the studio and we were discussing where to put the hoo-hoos. And before you walked in, we've been working out where it should be, like here versus here. And the day before we were saying it should be here. But before you came in, I was thinking it should be here. And you just walked in the door and you go, you know, those hoo-hoos, they need to be here. Basically, we were on the same page. It was funny because Brina looks and she's like, oh, okay. And we went through a mic up and we, you know, tracked it real quick.
Very cool.
Inside joke,
All right, here's my all-time favorite Sons of Silver song, okay? Never Enough.
Never Enough. Whoa.
Interesting.
Whoa. I forgot. I'm like, Never Enough. That was like the first song I think we ever branded as Sons of Silver.
It sounds like a James Bond theme. It's cinematic. It's like a cinematic track, you know? Cool. I think it's very cool. I think it's should be a Bond theme song, in my opinion.
I like that. Sold.
You know what? We'll get if you can get them to take it, we'll give you a nice big cut.
Okay. Well, Chris Cornell did it, man. Chris Cornell's Bond theme was awesome. I loved it.
That was good.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite. Really liked it.
He could write a song, you know. He could write a
song. Don't you miss those guys? All those guys from the '90s, you know. That. Did you know Chris Cornell?
No.
No, none of you guys.
No.
But yeah, it's a drag when somebody like that's gone, because it's like the music they've put out has been so good, so consistently good.
Yeah.
At many levels, and it's just a shame that it's stopped. I mean, aside from obviously the human element of he's not around, but
right.
But artistically, it's a drag when that's quieted.
It really is. You know, we lost too many people, you know, from that era. We really did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's a cool tune, Quarantine in California.
Oh yeah.
I like the video too.
Yeah. Well, we were all locked up, this first few months there. And I don't know. I just had this idea to just do a campy sort of thing. And I started singing this quarantine in California thing. And actually I wrote most of it in my head while I was working out, in a couple of days. And so I called up everyone and said, hey, how about we do something, a bit of a round robin? I'll, I'll do a vocal and acoustic guitar and pass it around to everyone, and they can go from there. So everyone was like, sure. And so I did, my part, and handed it off to Dave.
Right.
And Dave cut the drums and sent them off to Adam, and Adam sent then the bass and drums to Adam cut bass. He had sent it off to Kevin, who did guitars. Before I even knew it, I get these tracks back, and Kevin has done, this social distortion kind of guitars, which were amazing, because in my mind I'm thinking this is just gonna be fun for ourselves, because it's light, and I was like, whoa, this is a solid tune now, and we brought it home. Brina mixed it, and or actually you and Brina mixed it together, I think.
I have the worst memory with that stuff.
And that was that.
And it was purely authentic, because we were all quarantined. We all cut it in our individual homes by ourselves. The only time we've ever done a song like that.
So it's the only thing we've ever done. Not the same. Right?
Yeah.
Only time.
Dave has a simple setup at his home with just like 3 mics over the drums, and it sounds great. And it was funny, because I don't think any of us were expecting much. And we're like, oh, that was pretty cool. So when we did the videos the same way, it was like, okay, everyone just throw up a camera and do a couple takes, doing whatever you want to do, and we'll put, each of us in a corner, and that was that,
Yeah. That's your studio, right, Pete? Behind us?
This is our studio. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How long have you had that?
About 8 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's not easy building a recording studio. So
yeah,
you don't want to move once you get one.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. You got some great music out there. Obviously, you're awesome live. I've seen your YouTube videos, and you're excellent live, man. You guys are very tight band. When's the tour? Next tour?
We're waiting to get back some dates right now. We have our people working on it. We've had a couple options that we passed over because it just the timing wasn't right, or we're hoping for. We're to be honest, we're scrutinizing what we get ourselves into, because it needs to be the right match, because we can easily end up with someone who's too hard, too light, fall a little bit in between. But it's gonna happen. Guarantee it's gonna happen. Very soon.
Are you gonna headline, or are you gonna
we want
somebody?
We want to open for a big act. We're not ready to headline.
Right. Who are you thinking offhand? Would you like to?
I don't want to mention, just because I don't want to put a hex on anything.
Right.
My family's from the mountains of Greece. My dad would be, say something. He's like, don't say that. You're going to put a hex on it. Oh, okay. So it's wired into me.
Yeah.
Bottom line, our bags are packed. We're at the station, just waiting for the train.
Exactly.
Wait for the train. All right. Cool.
You're going to take
awesome.
the train? I'd rather take the plane.
No.
Yeah.
A lot harder to run and catch one of those.
This is true.
Trains are
cool. Yeah.
I like trains.
Well, make sure you come to Florida if you can. And
where in Florida are you, Ray?
I'm in the Sarasota area, south of Tampa.
Yeah. It's nice.
I cover all the shows in Tampa. I cover Orlando, all the Hard Rocks. I work all the Hard Rocks. I just covered Ann Wilson at the Hard Rock.
Nice. Oh, nice.
With Zoom, I don't have to go anywhere anymore. I used to have to, cover all these shows.
You go to the shows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when you interview them, do you interview them in person now, or
sometimes?
Because I saw some of them. All the videos I've seen in years were still via Zoom, so I didn't know if you were able to get people, because maybe people don't want to be interviewed, in person. That is.
I did Mick Box from Uriah Heep at the in Orlando at the Hard Rocks. That was fun.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, but Zoom is the way to go. You get the like you guys. You're relaxed. You can chill, swear, drink, smoke, whatever you want to do. I don't care.
There's a lot to, I mean, because the technology works well on it. There's no latency when you're speaking.
Does, exactly.
Look at you.
Now there is one good thing that came out of the pandemic is that technology got dialed in.
Right. You're right.
I was one of my friends I went out and had a beer with last night, right? And he's an actor. He does a lot of TV shows, small parts. Like he'll appear on 3, 4, 5 episodes of a season, right? Anyway, so he just landed a pretty big show through Paramount, and he he's telling me that all the auditions, even a lot of working on the script, is done by a Zoom. So he's like, I think I may move to Hawaii. He goes, I'm thinking about it because I can do all my you rarely ever do auditions in person.
Right.
And
that's right.
I can do them all by Zoom, even callbacks.
Exactly.
And he goes, and then working to the script early on, I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. So he goes, I may move to Hawaii, for a while.
Yeah.
That as well.
Very cool.
We're gonna play live. We're gonna play live.
Good. What about overseas? You're gonna go overseas? You'd be popular overseas. You'll probably be popular in Germany, Amsterdam.
We seem to have a good audience in Germany, the UK, obviously, South America. And really? I mean, like Mexico, we have a really good, as far as the streaming and media presence. It's Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Mexico again. So yeah, we'd love to get down there too, because they're such rabid rock and roll fans, and those are beautiful countries.
Beautiful down there, yeah.
My answer for those questions always is, it's like that movie Field of Dreams. If you book us, we will come.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so weird that you said that, because I have a Field of Dreams question for you guys that I ask everybody. That's very strange.
He's good with stuff like that.
I love Field of Dreams. That's a cool movie. I bring a lot of guys. I do with Zoom. It's awesome because there's a lot of Norwegian bands. I love prog rock. I love progressive rock. And there's a lot of new prog bands, and there's prog metal now, of course, is very popular. But I like to bring them to the States by Zoom, So I brought people from Norway. Tomorrow I'm interviewing in the morning Andy McCoy. You know Andy McCoy? We're going to do that from Finland. He was in, what is it? Saigon Rocks or Hanoi Rocks?
Oh, Hanoi Rocks.
Hanoi Rocks.
Yeah.
Guitar player.
That's cool.
That's
cool.
Great.
8 o'clock in the morning because he's in Finland. Yeah. So that'll be cool. Yeah. But I like to, help these guys out. And there's some great musicians out there. There's a band called RPWL. I mean, they're the spitting image of Pink Floyd. They started out as a Pink Floyd kind of tribute thing, but they went off on their own, writing their own music, and they're incredible. They're in Germany, and but they don't do a lot of touring in the United States.
It's hard. I mean, especially to the States from Europe. I mean, things are much more spread out in the States.
Right.
You're going to drive long distances between cities. I mean, in Europe, 100 miles, if that, and you're in the next town. So it's a lot easier for European bands to get off the ground, and but coming to the States is daunting for them.
Yeah, but you know what? They're having a hard time going from country to country and touring now. It's expensive.
Different COVID policies.
Right, exactly. They're having a real hard time.
Policies are easing up now. I think that's settled down.
Exactly. All right, so Florida's on your mind. So in our area, probably Tampa would be good for you, I think.
Yeah.
And if you want, and I could see you guys playing the Hard Rock.
Yeah, great.
We would love to.
Hard Rock gigs. We got Orlando, Tampa, and Fort Lauderdale. Those are the Hard Rock gigs. And if I can help in any way, just let me know. I know a lot of these guys. I know the promoters and all these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Once we get things sort of dialed in, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right, here comes your Field of Dreams question. I ask everybody this, and I get some very interesting answers. And I guess this goes to each one of you, okay? If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, when Ray granted Doc Archibald, Moonlight Graham, his wish to perform or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Who wants to go first?
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Play guitar with them.
That would be, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
You go next. I haven't figured mine out yet.
Well, I'm going to kind of throw a curve. I mean, I'd go with Zeppelin or Beatles for bands, but
Okay.
I think what I would really want to do is I would like to have been a member of the Wrecking Crew.
Yes. Good
That-
answer.
That's
yeah.
badass.
You're the first one who's ever said that, you know?
He's, you know,
Smart dude.
That's why he's always right.
Right.
Right now I'm on the left, but to you, I'm on the right.
That's a good answer.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, okay. Can I have a two-part answer like him?
Oh yeah. You can name a whole band if you want.
Okay. If I could have been in any other band, it would have been the Clash. If I could have been in a band, it would have been the Clash. If I could have played with any other musician or experienced working with them, I mean, I'd actually say Beethoven, to be honest with you.
Wow. Go all the way back.
Look, obviously it comes to mind like Paul McCartney, John Lennon, you know.
Yeah. Everybody
Mike-
says that.
The Edge, you know, or Frank Sinatra, you know, guys like that. But I think Beethoven was badass.
Yeah.
I mean, those stuff you wrote was amazing to me. It's got a lot of, to me, it's a little dark, and I like that, and very heart wrenching. And he wrote a lot of that stuff when he was, or at least a fair chunk when he was deaf or near deaf.
That's right. That's
I'd like to have picked that in mind a few times. Maybe not, but you know, but I sparked some curiosity on my part.
You know, it's amazing, those great composers, you know, they died young, most of them, you know. Like
I think a lot of people died young back then. There wasn't a lot. You know,
True, too.
but all the music they created in that short time frame, you know, it was pretty incredible. Kind of like the Beatles.
Yeah.
The Beatles made so much music in a short time, you know.
yeah,
8 years.
they weren't very good though.
Yeah.
Very overrated.
Yeah, they sucked.
Yeah. You know,
I could say a couple of, you know, you hear so many people act like all these guys are gods, and it's only because other people say they're gods.
Yeah.
And
the Beatles were gods.
but
Amazing. Yeah.
I've been around music for so long, man. You know, I can pick things apart, you know, because you see it over and over and over again. And, you know, I love all these guys, you know, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I notice certain things after, like George Harrison.
Yeah.
I don't think he was the greatest guitar player. And why did he have Eric Clapton backing him up all the time? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't necessarily think it's about being the greatest. Like a band is, as I'm sure you know well, it's chemistry, and it's an ecosystem.
True.
So you change. So it's the old saying that the sum, what is it? The sum is greater than the whole of the parts type thing,
Right.
like that. But George Harrison, in many ways, you know, first of all, he was there from the beginning. He was sort of that whole team.
Pioneer.
And I think, from my understanding, people work with him, he really gave a lot of strength to the other two, and he gave them space to operate. So you need that type of chemistry, and you take that out. Like, they were beating him up effectively. If you watch the movie and read the stories, and they appear to be accurate, them beating them up was almost diminishing that whole teamwork that they had established.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be the best. That's not his role. His role is to keep them moving forward, and he did that, you know. And in the end, look, the best few songs they had at the end were all his songs.
I was going to say,
Something comes to some. While my guitar gently weeps.
The guy's sense of melody was amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know, they fought him, you know, Lennon and McCartney, when he presented a song to him, it's almost like they laughed at him, which that was, you know, you see that in the movie, the last movie they did, right?
Yeah.
Let It Be? Was it Let It Be?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, is that he wasn't a part of that team initially. It was Lennon.
Yeah.
So for him to come in, he had to change the whole dynamic of what it was. It wasn't set up that way.
Right.
I will say this. One of my dad's closest friends is this crazy German guy. And he when he was in his like 18, 19, 20 years old, he managed the clubs, the day-to-day he managed of these two clubs the Beatles played at in Hamburg. And he told me stories about them. And he said the Beatles weren't all that great. He basically said the Beatles, there was the bands that come on in between the bands. You know, he was exaggerating, but he said one thing. He said those three guys, John, Paul, and George, they walked into a room, they stepped on the stage, and he said you knew it right away that there was something there. From the very first time to the last time they played there, he said they had an energy about them that was undeniable.
Mhm.
And I've heard that from other people who saw them. There was something about those three guys, not to
Yeah.
take from Ringo or anything, but those three guys had a magic, and their vocals, if anything, my God, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ringo's drumming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
He was a good drummer. A lot of people, didn't realize how good of a drummer he was. He was an excellent drummer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, we all have our opinions.
yeah, that's right. Just keep yours to yourself there, Ray. You know? I see where you're going with this.
I'm stepping over the line here. Well, I just want to mention Ordinary Sex Appeal by Sons of Silver. It's out. Basically, you can buy it anywhere. It's on Amazon. It's on your website. Go to your website. It's always Doomsday Noises. That's out. Very easy to purchase. 2 excellent EPs. I love them both. Gave them both 5 stars. I really mean that. You guys are a great band. I want to see more of you guys. We need you, because we need more of your kind of music, and get rid of the Taylor Swifts and all those people, the Carrie Underwoods, and I can't take that anymore.
Now you just blew it for us, because we're supposed to open for both of them.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I blew it there then.
Thank you, Ray.
I got to keep rock going, Also, I want to say special thanks to Dana Gordon of Indie Music Media for arranging this interview with Sons of Silver.
Dana, we love you.
Yeah, she's cool. She's hooking me up with the Dolly Rots.
Oh yeah.
You know the Dolly Rots?
Yeah.
Little punk band. They're cool. They're a cute band. I like them. I like them.
Husband and wife team.
Yeah, very, very cool. Last question: how many kids you guys have?
Between us?
Who's married? Yeah. I mean,
we're all married.
Yeah.
You're all married.
Yep, I have one.
You got one.
He has 2. Brina and I have 1. So
okay, awesome.
yeah.
Well, kids are the greatest, man. I got 5 grandkids, and I love them all.
Oh, nice.
Congrats.
I'll say this. So Brina and I were the last one to jump on, that wagon, on the parent bandwagon. Well, yes, right. A year and a half ago, our son's a year and a half old. Anyway, and these guys were always urging us, come on, just do it. We're like, okay, the band touring, how are we going to manage this stuff? And like, it's never going to be perfect. You just got to do it. Take the plunge. Right. So we did, and it's funny because it is the greatest experience. And not only is it great having a kid and being a parent, for Brina and I, but also to share this together. In our case, it's wonderful because our son gets to hang out with these guys when we're in the studio for quite a bit, and it's just a nice bonding thing. We're all very close, and it's really nice to share that experience. But my God, am I tired?
How are you going to work it out when you go on tour?
What's that?
How are you going to work it out when you go on tour? Because Brina's going with you, right? She'll be on the tour.
He's the back. He gets the back of the bus. Well, he does know how to patch things in, guitars, the patch. He may be a year and a half old, but he knows how to work
already. That's true.
So give him another year,
They're way ahead of their time, man. They really are.
Yeah. We've actually had a couple songs he's inspired, where
really cool.
Kevin played a riff and he really got into it. So we're like, oh, let's make it a song.
If the kid dance,
that's it.
Sign, right?
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, we use him as a good sounding board. If he dances, we got something.
Right. Well, we'll see how he develops.
Hey, you missed that song, Julian. It turned out to be a stinker,
We'll see if he develops into a singer, a guitarist, or a bass player, right? Or probably a drummer. Drumming's the easiest.
His first interest seems to be drums. God help us. So
it's always drums. My son turned into a drummer. Yeah.
It's all right.
It'll do it. You got to get that soundproof room in the house.
That's right. I know. He wants some electric drums now. Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah. Headphones.
You got to do it.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. Good luck with the music. The music's great, and hope to see you on the road very shortly.
Likewise, it'd be great to hook up in person.
All right, man.
Can you pop me an email? I'll just send it to Dana. So I'd love to send you some Sons of Silver swag.
Okay, cool. Very cool. I'm going to send Dana all the links too. This will be on Spotify. YouTube, you name it, Pandora. I mean, I'm everywhere.
No,
So,
I see you have a great show. So
Thank you.
thank you so much for having. So please,
Sure.
yes, send her your info because we'd love to send you some stuff.
Awesome. And let me know when you're coming to Florida.
Absolutely.
And
All right.
before I got two for you. So the best parents get promoted to grandparent.
Right.
So there's that one there. But I heard another one the other day, and you'll identify with this one. It's really good. If you raise your kids, you get to spoil your grandchildren.
Yes.
You spoil your children, you're going to raise your grandkids.
Man, I spoil the hell out of my grandkids. They can do anything they want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anything they want to eat.
That's what I
Christmas
remember
time.
my grandparents doing.
That's what they're there to do. Wind them up and give them back to the parents. You know?
Exactly. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
That's
You want
it.
sugar? You want a Coke? No problem. You want some coffee?
Actually, I got to interrupt real quick. It's funny because Brina and I, a couple of days ago, we were with some good friends of ours who have a daughter just a couple months younger, right? And our two kids seem to get along well, so we're hanging out. And the wife, the mom, was saying that a week before they had been visiting folks' family back on the East Coast, and they were at their uncle's house, and she turns around and her uncle was handing their 16-month-old a Sprite and some potato. She's like, no, slow down here, slow down, Uncle, whatever, And he's like, what was the problem, She's like, age. It's like, and basically he was like, man, it's not my kid.
Yeah,
exactly.
Coffee and a cruller.
Yeah, exactly. My son had twins, identical twin girls.
Oh
wow. Nice.
And he's got a son that's 7 years old now. But when they were like a year and a half or so, they were walking around in their diapers holding pizza in their hand, They were just give them pizza, That's
Have it.
Whatever works,
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Take care.
Have a great one.
Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Later.